Happy evening to everybody. Morning to, and perhaps afternoon to some of you dialing in from Europe and US and other parts. In the year 2015, I came across this concept of we are less matter, more energy. When I came across this book, You Are the Placebo, 99.9999% energy, and then we are really a tiny bit matter. That changed a lot of, that caused a lot of shift in me. My spiritual journey started long ago, and I was pretty happy till that time. It started in 2099. It started, but 2000 is really when I understood to a great extent myself. Transformation. My spiritual birthday is when someone asked me, and then I really take it as 2002. But however, when I came across this statement in 2015, it caused a shift in my understanding of this personal reality, of this world. Until that time, science, learning of spiritual science, I have understood that Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, that means you are that. I am Atma Brahma, I am the creator. All these statements are there from our philosophies and from spiritual science. I am Son of God, you are that too. This is from Jesus Christ, which is a conceptual understanding, and it was all there. And then I was able to live life, but I never understood. Every time I met, every time Patriji would say, there's only oneness. There's only oneness. It's all about oneness. Then I would take it as something that we have to grow to. I would take that as something we have to grow to feel that everybody is one. And being a computer scientist, I never doubted it, but it's just that never had a deeper understanding of it to say, what does it mean? But this statement that we are really energy and then we are matter so little. Matter means something that is broken off that energy and then something that is there in a different form, which sort of creates a separation. And deep inside, when we go back and experience that energy, then you are energy, I am energy, and everybody is energy. So we're all connected really, really deep inside. Then subsequently, then I understood this concept of being. You be that. When you can be and when you can feel that you are this whole, because you are truly are the whole deep inside. And if you can be, if you can feel that whole, it took me some time to understand slowly. If you can be, you can feel that whole that you are, then everything you can create from inside from you, because you are that whole, you are that. When you have it with you, then you can take it out. You can take it out and feel it. So understanding this principle that we are really energy and then less matter opened up a lot of things for me. That we are chasing all the time, our whole focus in the wakeful time has only been that material reality, which is so tiny. Whereas this science is saying that there is something huge, which is whole infinite. The science is saying you are really energy, you're not matter. And if you can go on and then explore around this energy, and then if you can think energy and then feel energy or do stuff around that, or using that as a springboard to try to drop the differences around and then try to work with more and more people, more and more things. The same time, when I attended the workshop by Amit Goswami was he is a quantum physicist. He's written a book called he's written multiple books. One of the books is called Self-Aware Universe. I understood this concept from Dr. Joe Dispenza from his book You Are the Placebo. That is very clear. Then I went and studied all his books and since then. And I attended his workshops too. Then I also attended this master Amit Goswami. I mean, see, everything happens at the same time. That's around the time I used to travel to United States quite frequently. So I attended this master's workshop. He is a book by Self-Aware Universe. He is a quantum physicist. He is a physics department head, Department of Physics in Oregon State University. 40 years he was the head of that department for a long time. But he was also parallelly exploring so much of quantum physics and then trying to explain science where it always took out the consciousness out of the equation. It always started that mind and then body, mind are basically body is bones and molecules, and then mind is thought. It is all fully inside the brain. This is where it started. But now the quantum physicists are saying this consciousness is outside. It's not really inside the body. Then they started explaining from consciousness is there in this infinite field that quantum physics has proven and it's discovered now over 100 years of research, ever since early 19th century to now, almost 90 years of research. With that, everything starts with consciousness, which is paying always attention, and that consciousness is creating realities from this infinite field of energy down into matter. And we're all individual consciousnesses, we're all existing, and then we're also creating more and more realities based on thought and feeling. So learn from a master that you need to be generally be in a positive state, in a miraculous state. That's there always. 4 types of thinking: disastrous, negative to positive, miraculous. I've learned from this master. So in general, being in the positive side, but understanding from a science perspective that we're all energy, we are connected as energy. When you think energy, when you go into experience energy, and then from there, what comes out is really based on our observation. And then the moment I understood scientifically, then it became a lot more clear that I need to be working on my thought more and more and more. And not only on the thought, as I worked this through these masters of Joe Dispenza or the Bruce Lipton or some of these new generation, new world masters who are trying to combine science with spirituality, where they said feelings matter a lot. So thoughts and feelings and environment became the reality. The feelings, because sometimes they are as much as 5,000 more powerful than a thought in producing so much electromagnetic energy and producing so many derived thoughts. And so feelings also become important. So thoughts and feelings become reality was something that I could pursue more and more and more. And then ever since that shift occurred, if I look back and say the previous 13 years of my spiritual life and then that last 5 years, there is a significant change in creation and manifestations. Ability to stay on this positive side, ability to stay on and constantly be clear about what we're thinking, and taking out every thought that makes me separate from somebody else has increased, that awareness has increased. And so as a result, the first thing was that when the moment I understood this, and one of the core reasons of why our thoughts go in a different direction is because the beliefs that we form. It is so clearly explained by Dr. Joe. So clearly explained the belief system that are formed and then how the belief systems neurologically, how they've been driving similar thoughts into the universe with this with the electromagnetic signatures. And then if you read Amit Goswami's book and said, yes, all thoughts are observer always collapsing the possibility. Observer is nothing but the observer's thought energy that's going as a signature into the field. So I could able to rectify and stay towards focus towards the goals. The first thing was manifesting an outcome for my business, because that was a clear mission for me. My team on the other side working, and we were absolutely working together, but I would quietly working on this goal of manifesting. So I took upon myself to do an everyday meditation for an hour on just on this manifestation of this one single thing. There were many days I missed my breakfast, but not missed my meditation in a given single day. This whole science is telling about this field is unpredictable. This field is unlimited. So taking all those, rectifying the thoughts about, hey, doubting, and then predicting a specific way, initially it was tough. For example, initially when we got an opportunity and said, okay, here is a company which is interested in your product and space, but that I was so predictable. And I said, when one of my colleagues came up and said, I want to do this meeting with IBM, I said, don't waste your time. These are my initial words. And she called and told me, don't waste your time because we're not working with them in the field really. We did one odd deal or two in the past. But quantum physics model is saying unpredictable. Be unpredictable. Don't predict stuff. So I realized pretty quickly when she persisted. I said, okay, let's go and try. One thing led to the other. In fact, right in the beginning, as soon as I started this goal, within 2 or 3 weeks, when you are unpredictable and you stay there, because every month it used to be a struggle, if I use the word struggle, to meet the cash flows, to pay the salaries for the company. And within 2 weeks of starting this, there is a big cash flow and IT refund that came, which took care of for 2-3 months. That freed me up of my energy to focus on business development. And then as we were doing it, then this opportunity came that was out of nowhere. By the way, I was not expecting this cash refund will come, because for a long time we tried and we left it out. We said, okay, sometime it will come. When you are unpredictable, things would come. And then again, I was not, this thing out of nowhere, this inside the opportunity came. Initially, I was not really onto it, but then with the push of this colleague, Raji Iyengar, beautiful, she was a key part of it. Everyone who plays a role in the opportunities they bring us, growth. Always be grateful. So she brought in that, and then we pursued it. And then I happened to meet co-founder of Buddha CEO Foundation, now Lawrence Guhad-Jolly, who is there in the call. She is the general manager at that time looking after this business. And we met. Intuitively, I would feel that it's going to happen, but there are several roadblocks. I had my own version of various beliefs about why this may succeed, not succeed. But I understood from the science, from Joe Dispenza, that a lot of beliefs will hold us back constantly. One, the beliefs are what is projecting different thoughts. And the science is there, the thoughts create reality. We're going to understand this subject after meditation today from a quantum physics perspective. I've been talking about it for 4 days. So we're going to understand this a little bit more after the meditation. But I thought I'll share my journey of how the shift happened when I understood truly scientifically, logically, so that my analytical mind is happy. It can take it. Whatever I'm doing, it is supported. So that manifestation, as I was meditating for 14 months, but in 3 months, this insight came. In another 3 months later, exactly 6 months to that time, there are some more messages along the way where Patrizi told me something in between. Then I had met Lawrence in between, and then I had visited another spiritual place called Mount Shasta in the United States, where I was meditating. So I got some more messages, insights. So by the time it came March, deep inside for me intuitively, we felt that it's going to happen. But however, material is not there yet. But intuitively at the energy level, we felt this transaction will happen, that this company will acquire us. That's our goal. In software business, in the business that we are in, my goal was to get it acquired, because I was very, very clear that I need to move on to the next thing, which is primarily to do spiritual service. So I was not in an interest to continue to carry on and grow the business, but instead get it acquired by a larger company. That was the goal. That was the mission. So we knew that in about 6 months it is going to happen intuitively, but materially it is not there yet. There are still probably a lot of things to be untangled, but it is intuitively felt. So as you are having these one step after step after in an unpredictable way, where you're getting these messages, you know that, okay, this is going to happen. So then you start operating as if it's happening. You don't operate with doubt. And we operated continued by the end of that year, we had a great outcome. And I've always been grateful to Lawrence for this outcome in my life, which has enabled me to do many more things subsequently. Soon after that, our attention shifted to the second manifestation, where he said, in order for me, then when I went into IBM, while I had this core responsibility of integrating our company into IBM, so I did definitely have a moral, physical, material responsibility to integrate. So I needed to do whatever is required to do into that. Absolutely was committed to doing it. But then parallelly, I need something that really deeply satisfies me. Not this, again, the some more IT things, but because I've been into the meditation service for quite a while, and then that deep desire is there that I want to do something more in that same. Because in this, as an executive in IBM kind of companies, very little you can do outside because you are really so busy as a large company. So I stated my objective clearly to Lawrence. At that time, she was my boss. And said, hey, we would like to teach meditation, introduce meditation to as many people and as many executives. And then in the subsequent 2.5 years, with her help, and significantly were able to introduce meditation to over 1,000 leaders and then many people in that company. Very happy to have introduced. Now, how many practice, we don't know, but definitely one of the manifestation where I wanted to, where while my time was there, absolutely to give as much as possible and introduce it. That has happened in a company which is very conservative, but in ability to introduce. In fact, some of the leaders we were never thought will turn into, they actually were talking about mindfulness and meditation on the stages. What you believe in is possible when it has become so unwavering in mind. Then after that, as I coming out, this particular one, the Buddha CEO Quantum Foundation, is all my goal. And I'll have to say that this foundation is taking off in so well. I mean, again, we were so unpredictable. The only thing I said is, okay, we got to just give out whatever that we could have, whatever that I have, give out selflessly, but not really, let's see where it takes. And then COVID came, and then one thing led to the other. And I'm deeply grateful to Karthikeyan sir. From there, many other masters who were able to join in. It's a collective effort that has become again and again, because the only thing we had was that with that observation that our thoughts create reality, our feelings create reality. So can you become one and one and one? The more we become one, the more we drop the differences, the more we feel that being of the state that, okay, what is there at the end of the day? Then the more it would expand. That's how the journey so far has been, in the least imaginable fashion for me, in the least I expected, that the way it's turning out to be at this point. So grateful that so many guys are Sterling Publishing, he is encouraged, Ramesh from there, and then there are so many meditators who have been encouraging their people, and then Balsundaramji has been spending. He's encouraging so many people to come and join. Everybody who is in contact are saying, okay, there is something great to learn. But whatever may be the end result, that this foundation, this quantum foundation is growing. And we feel very happy about it, very humbly happy, not arrogantly, very humbly, very happy about its growing. The point is that ever since I understood that our thoughts create reality, and then we are really deep inside energy, and with that energy, we're all connected. That shift, as I say, that is absolutely giving fabulous outcomes into the life. The more we can become whole, the more we become one, the more we can become of it. When I say become of it, it's like learning driving, it's like learning cooking. You learn driving, first day you will think about how to even manage this car. That bonnet is so long that I can't even see the edge of it. I used to always worry about it. If I sit down, and how do these drivers take the perfect turns at 60, 70 kilometers per hour? And it's being because you can't even see the edge. Won't it go and then hit somebody? That's the thought process I used to have before I learned driving. But when I came into the driving, when I sat there first day, second day, very worried, will it go and then touch it here and there? But guess what? After a few days, It becomes second nature. So we learn initially, then we practice it, then we be of it. Means you and I don't think about driving. When you go out of the road, whether it's a busy day or simple day, do you think about, oh, okay, in that place, how do I take a turn? I need to turn left. Do you even think about it? Don't think about it. Because it's part of us. We become of it, we be of it. You don't plan to teach somebody. If somebody says, hey, can you teach me driving? Okay, so come, let's go. You don't need to prepare for it because it's there with you. Isn't it? It's like that. So we become of this whole thing. Everything is with me. That's the time I understood that oneness means that you feel really, really that you are this one. The more we can feel that, the more one in meditation gives us the opportunity to connect into that wholeness and then bring that down into the wakeful state. As our thoughts come down, we become more self-aware. So the more we can bring that down into the wakeful state and extend it. And the more we become one with everybody, dear friends, the more whole we feel, and the more we can manifest into the reality. Because that's the time we feel there's less externally than more inside. If that's the breath mindfulness meditation that we are doing every day, and this is that meditation that we are practicing, that's simple, observing a normal natural breath, is all that we practice is taking us to feel that whole again. Why would we not spend one more 45 minutes of today time in going deeper into ourselves? Let's give our best today again. Instruct ourselves that this time is for me. I want to go after this. What is this quantum field? I want to go after it. I want to feel it. I want to touch it. I want to knock on the doors of this field today. Become totally empty. I'm going to set aside all my projects, whatever that may be. I'm going to set aside what I'm going to cook for dinner today. Leave it. One dinner, it can wait. But here there are 150 people joining with me. I'm going to be part of this energy circle, completely set aside all my thoughts, and then go into my breath. Observe my breath as much as possible, and then become totally empty. This mind is going to be telling you, is going to discourage you. It's going to take every opportunity to tell you that Lawrence, today is sufficient. 10 minutes is good enough. Oh, too much, a lot of time you've spent. Now stop it. Chandra will play a lot of music. It'll go on for some time. But 15 minutes later, it's telling you, do it tomorrow. It is okay. There's life is there. So many days. Do it tomorrow. It's going to tell you that. And then you'll succumb and say, oh yeah, a lot of thoughts are coming. So fine. So let the music finish and then I'll join in to listen to the next topic. I say, don't succumb to that. We've been conditioned and we're not the master. Even though we were the master in the beginning, but then we became a servant to the mind. Don't get me wrong when I say this mind is beautiful. Because the mind of the duality, we experience the whole life. But however, we also need to experience the non-dual nature of it, which means where we need to be the master. We want to control, and they say when you want to be dual, when you want to be non-dual. Non-duality means they're becoming one. We want to actively get into a drama, into an act of going into office, spending a day, spending time with colleagues, everything, but step back and say, aha, so this is what I did today. Not get sucked into this whole dramas of life and then see that that's the holy life. We want to come out of it actually. Be that observer at the same time observed. And so for that, this mind is all the time is pushing us to come out of it. It's going to complain a lot. But tell you what, we'll always have a person in our life, maybe in office, maybe at home, maybe in a community, who is always in your circle but complaining to you and saying, the only thing they do is complain. I want you to equate your mind to that complaining person. You have figured out a way to live with that person in your life. What did you do? You keep on listening in, but then you leave them out. You listen in and then leave it out. Listen in and leave it out. That's what you've done because you're obligated to not walk away with that person because the person probably is in your project group or in your same aisle in your office. Or of course, if you're living with a person at home and who is always doing it, you can't walk away. But you know how to filter. So do exactly that to this mind, which is complaining. In case it's complaining, do that to that. Figure out a way and say, yes, it's going to stay there, but I am also here. and then reject that, and then stay through it for this full 45 minutes actively, dear friends. That's when we're going to slowly tame it. We're going to go beyond that process of mind. We are going beyond our 5 elements first, then we're going beyond this mind stuff next, then we're getting into this quantum energy field, which is that whole infinite emptiness as a third stage. But it's got to happen. So give yourself your best and say, I'm not giving up. Just by keeping our eyes closed, 80% of sensory perception, sensory inputs have been blocked. And so there is so much that we gain by just by having eyes closed. So stay with the eyes closed. Don't open the eyes. It's easy, right? I mean, you can keep the eyes closed. Body movements, they're not cooperating. It's okay. You can change. Change your leg position if it's not able to cross your legs. Hands, I suppose it's pretty easy. But if that's also bothering you, okay, fine. But don't open your eyes. Keep your eyes open. And then do your best to observe the breath, observe and observe and observe. Thoughts come. Don't fight it out. Don't be harsh on yourself. Thoughts will come. But recognize that this mind wants to control you and say, hey, I'm the boss today. And so come back to observing the breath. That's all we do, friends. So let's go into a meditation once again. Give our best. Wonderful. As we are relaxing into these energies, let's listen to this master, Lawrence Gehard-Joly from New York. And I certainly would like to understand some experiences that we talk about the quantum field and listen into Mr. Talisalaji towards the end about sharing his experience, and then close the session for today. So Lawrence.
Yeah, thanks, Chandra. Talking about energy, so this meditation was bringing me again the benefit of energy. So I have the chance to every time I meditate to feel this wave of energy that I couldn't explain at the beginning, but now I explain it through this quantum field and this oneness. And it gives me a lot of benefit in life and during the day. But before we go there, Chandra mentioned the story about manifestation and oneness. So I am a mother of two. I live in New York. I'm moving back to France. I have the dual citizenship and working for more than 30 years in IBM in a senior executive position for the last 15 years. And about this story of quantum field and manifestation and attraction. So, you saw the story from the angle of Chandra. In my case, before meeting Chandra and working on his acquisition of his company 4 years ago, I had no idea about what was meditation. Really zero idea. I even had a few years working in Singapore and across the ASEAN region. Acquired some beautiful Buddha statues. Never made the connection. And in my education, when I was raised in France, meditation was something for the hippies going to Kathmandu and pretty much doing nothing. So this was all belief. But when I started this business unit, I knew I wanted something disruptive. I was not meditating. I met Chandra 2-3 times. And there was still a very, very powerful force that was driving me through all the roadblocks of acquiring a company within a huge corporation. Because the objective is to make sure that we are sure about what we are doing. So before putting the money on the table, every corporation is creating a process to make it effective and successful. But no matter what the roadblocks, and the first one was even in myself, can I put my badge IBM on the table to acquire a company that is based from Bangalore and is supposed to become immediately effective and global? This was kind of against all my all belief. It was very risky, and you know, there is no forgiveness when you are a senior executive. You acquire a company and you fail. But I felt this really powerful attraction to make it happen, and I don't know why, but now I understand why. Because with all the wisdom and knowledge about meditation, about the quantum field, about the law of attraction, about the limitless possibilities, something was attracting me there. And we made the deal, we succeeded in the deal. We created a successful, a very challenging, you know, business plan. And actually we overachieved that business plan year after year. I think there was a lot about manifestation. There was a lot of energy coming from Chandra and our members of the team who started also to meditate. And I remember after 3 months, 2 months, we were in this integration of this company. Of course, like in any company, we had to make the first quarter successful as a business and demonstrate that what we had done was already working out very well. And you know, we were at the very, very end of the quarter close. And we believed that it was going to be challenging, like in any business. But I was like very, very certain in myself. And I had started meditating for like the last 3 months, every day, an hour. Of course, all my intent were to make sure that everything would be okay. And we signed an outstanding, huge deal, you know, 2 months and a half after the acquisition. That was nearly half of the business plan by itself. And we were talking with Chandra every day. And that was the beginning of this journey. But I can tell you, I saw with my own eyes how it can manifest. And in addition to that, as I was meditating, my main problem from a health standpoint was back pain. I could barely stand for more than 10 minutes. I was always in pain. I had to travel lying down when I was in a plane, and I was traveling a lot. So that was really a major challenge for me. With the encouragement of Chandra, I really started from day one to meditate. And he told me, just imagine. I was a beginner, so I had not been reading any books at that time, but he said, imagine what you would be feeling if you had resolved your back pain, how happy you would be. And I was like skeptical, like, what is he telling me? I mean, I can imagine, but what does it mean for me? It's like 40 years I'm suffering. So, but I decided to make a try because I had been going on Google and reading some, you know, magazines, and starting reading the book of Joe Dispenza, you know, You Are the Placebo. So I gave a try. And for about 3 weeks, every day, my only intent was really about back pain. And in my mind came one image. I was jumping on a trampoline. So I would go in meditation, I would create the emptiness, then I would see myself and feel the emotion of, you know, jumping and laughing on a trampoline. Okay. And I am not living in Disneyland and I am not a kid anymore, but it was extremely powerful. I can tell you the back pain disappeared. it's not completely gone in a sense, but I know so well my body that I know also my limit. So I'm always, kind of in automatic pilot about what I can do, but I can walk 10 miles in a day. I am actually packing my house and moving stuff and so on. Never went back to the doctor for this. Okay, and in addition, stopped every medication. So I have not taken any medication since nearly 4 years, except once I had a surgery for dental, a checkup, and I had to do this. But out of that, no medication. So, business-wise and health-wise, so it was really extremely powerful. And sleeping less, changing my diet. In France, we are not really vegetarian, but same, the masters and Chandra, and then reading books again, made me rethink my diet, and I became a vegetarian. So initially was mainly for health, and also by exploring, changing, see what does it mean changing the diet? Can I do it? And I really did it overnight, stopping the meat, the fish, the eggs, and see what happened. I lost weight. I gained even more energy. I even went to my doctor and said, hey, I'm losing weight. What is going on? And then he smiled and said, are you feeling good? I said, I feel so good. And then he laughed and he said, hey, I can tell you now, we know each other since 15 years, but I am a vegan. It was really funny. Synchronicity. So I had less sleep, but better quality. So I want sometimes for my business, for my own time also, for myself, meditating, reading books, and spending more time with the family. And finally, and you will explore that yourself, I was always aware and present. This was the best gift of meditation, short term. My family was so happy. They told me that a year after. But I was always enjoying. I was enjoying everything I was doing. And again, I have a life like everybody. I have kids at home. I have a handicapped boy who is 100% dependent. So I'm taking care every day. I was working, traveling, but I was feeling joyful. And the last thing is the fear was gone. The fear of looking bad, of failing, the fear of death also disappeared. Okay, so it was a very short journey, but very deep, very fast. And I really encourage you to first, do the meditation, get into the habits, see the meditation as a gift. It's a gift. It's not a chore. It's a gift. Read books, any type of books, from any type of, meditators or personal development. That's really extremely good. I have now 180 books, in nearly 2 years, 3 years, sorry, and a ton of podcasts and conferences and so on. So you are learning, and you are going to keep learning like crazy. And you are going to be more effective in everything you do by doing this. Experience from others is really powerful. And then engage yourself. Talk to other people about mindfulness and meditation. You're going to be surprised by how much people are doing this, maybe not talking about it, at schools, in sports, friends, and you're going to have wonderful dinner time just talking about this and exploring this and being challenged about why are you doing this. But it's extremely transforming to do this. And then at the end, I decided to teach. I was working with Chandra. We were in the same team. And I was a bit afraid at the beginning because some people also tried to convince me it was not a good idea. Don't talk about meditation at work. You're going to look like crazy, or you're going to look like you want to stop business and go in the Himalayas. Okay? And it was the opposite. We always found people inside the large corporation that helped us create and co-create this, to executive, to employees, and finally, doing this for the entire senior executive team and the chairman of IBM. and being put in charge of mindfulness at IBM. So it's not the ego trip, it's the feeling of giving back. And when you receive feedback, even from one individual telling you, you know, I have cancer, thanks to you, I can sleep again, and I feel positive, and I'm going better, or I can finally sleep, or I just decided to take a new out of comfort zone job, and I'm so enjoying myself. And I had people from all over the planet. Could be in Nigeria, could be in Mexico, could be in the US, could be in France, of course India, which is my kind of place of adoption. So I encourage you, but what I'm always saying to everyone is practice. And like Chandra was telling you in the first few days, same, there are some days where I have a ton of thoughts in my head. You know, actually, I'm packing, moving to France, changing 17 years of life to another place, starting from scratch over there, moving to this full-time giving back activity now, before probably moving to doing also other things. So the thoughts are coming in your head. Don't give up. It's normal, and every time you are taking your mind back to the breath, a million times, you are learning to be present in a moment and to enjoy your life in a moment. The past is gone, the future is not there. Just enjoy yourself in a moment. Be present with your client, with your teammate, with your kids. Don't multitask. Just be there and enjoy the moment. And I can tell you, you won't regret it. So with that, I'm turning back to Chandra. And I wish you a wonderful journey, and I'm sure we're going to be together again. You know, and I want to thank again all the people here who are helping us creating this adventure of the Buddha CEO Quantum Foundation, and be part of this community already active. I'm sure with that we're going to transform the world. I have been reading this book. I have decided to live 120 years. I have found my purpose. One is more personal. I want to be alive for my handicapped son until he needs me, and he will need me for a long time. And the second purpose is I want the entire world to meditate and create a compassionate, energetic, enthusiastic world, a vibrant place. Thanks, everyone. Namaste.
Thank you, Lauren. That's wonderful. Dear friends, that's general manager who managed billions of dollars of business at one of the largest companies in the world, was saying that she found a purpose and transformed it in many ways. So what more? This is that meditation. All she needed was about 3 months. And that's all it takes. 3 to 6 months is when we transform, literally change ourselves, and then we are living our life in the most beautiful ways. Thank you, Lawrence, for being part of it. Yes, it is a great adventure. I heard this. Buddha Siva Quantum Foundation is a great adventure. Karthikeyan said had so many adventures in his life, and Sari is with us, so it's got to be a great adventure. And I wanted to cover an important topic, dear friends, on this quantum field that the Lawrence has talked about. Give me a few minutes and we're going to come back onto sharing more. When I learned this topic, and I said I was so intrigued of how is this happening, I'm going to take us through a little bit. Everything we call real is made of things that cannot be regarded as real. This is Neil Bohr, the quantum physicist. If you thought that whatever that you're taking is real, it is not real, is what he's saying. Is a physicist is saying that it's not real. Physics. So when we say that we are all really emptiness and energy, not matter, then you can understand a little bit around this using this. What you see here, two pictures. On the left side, I want you to pay attention. The left side is an atom. You know, hydrogen, oxygen, sodium, chlorine. These are all atoms, an independent unit of entity that exists as matter that we know of. So this atom, we all know, if you go back and recollect a little bit of your physics that you learned, if you studied till 6th and 7th, then you know that this atom has a proton right in the center, which is the nucleus, and then there are electrons orbiting around it. So the electrons and the proton we know have mass, or they have some weight to them. So if you see in that picture, in this left side picture, the center is the proton nucleus, and then these dots are there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 10 dots are there. They're all electrons. And we know that these electrons and protons that we understood as things that have particles that have mass on them. Now imagine if you draw an imaginary circle around this orbit, around here. If you draw an imaginary circle and say that is the space this atom is occupying in this overall universe, right? That is the space, an imaginary circle of space. And I ask you, how many of those 10 dots plus that center circle together, how much percentage of that overall circle that it actually constitutes? Because that is the percentage of space has matter. Rest of it is all empty, right? We learned it. The proton, then nucleus, and then center, then orbits the electron. Everything is really empty, except that electron and the proton have the matter, mass. So some will say easily 90% is empty, only maybe 5%, 10% is all that is there matter. When you put all those 10 small tiny dots together and then forms a bigger dot and then include that to the nucleus, so altogether maybe still a small dot compared to the larger circle that is encompassing these orbits. So there you say it is really what is there in an atom is emptiness, maybe 5% is mass, then empty, everything else is emptiness. But tell you what did quantum physics find? Quantum physics found that 99.99999 so much percentage is empty with energy. There are all that emptiness around. Quantum physics found that these electrons and then the proton neutron that occupies is so little. How little is it? It's only 0.0000001%. It's not 1%, it's not 0.1%, it's not 0.01%, it's not 0.001%. It is 11 zeros and 1%. That means more like 1 in 10 or 100 million parts. 1 in 10 or 100 million parts. If you take a whole and then you take it and make it into say 10 million and then one part out of it take it, that much is only matter. Everything else is emptiness. And what did they find this emptiness contain? They found that it is all energy. That energy is continuously exchange of information, and that information is coming from thought. They found that every time you think something and it is filling up that emptiness there, as an information is traveling beyond speed of light. One fact. Speed of light, 300,000 kilometers per second, which means that you can easily, when you think of something, because it's going at beyond speed of light as an information, and then so it can reach the other side of the world in split second. Why, when you think of somebody in the United States sitting in Bangalore, they're responding with a phone call to you immediately saying, hey, and then you tell them, hey, I was just thinking about you. How do you know that you called me right now? That's telepathy, that's what it is. Now, the second thing they've understood within this quantum physics is the second bullet out there. As a subatomic particle, everything is both wave and particle. See, only thing we knew was always that electron is a mass, it's only a particle. But then quantum physics is saying there's also wave. What is a wave? On the right side picture you see? Like the radio waves, which is what we tune in the radio so that we can receive from anywhere. The Akashvani station is from Hyderabad or Delhi or Bangalore, but then people who are 100 meters away, 100 kilometers away will still receive that signal. Because the wave is contiguous. There is no separation. If you're a particle, if you have the specks, there is separation. So this we say there's a boundary for the specks. But the wave, when an electron is particle, then you can say, okay, there is some maybe round shape or whatever. But when it is wave, then there's no separation. It is just continuously spreading. Now guess what? If electrons are waves, then quantum physics has found that they are waves as well as particles. Where is it becoming a particle? They said when somebody observing that wave, that particle, that electron, they think that, hey, where is this electron? I want to see where this electron is. Then suddenly from the wave, it became a particle and then showing up physically somewhere. They've done a little bit of experimentation. They put a screen and they used a machine gun to fire a set of electrons onto the screen. And as they're firing electrons, they expected that electrons will go straight on a single line and then form on that screen, right? For example, you take a set of balls and then keep throwing them straight. If you throw them straight, you know that it's going to straight go and then hit in the direction to that wall or screen, right? We say that, yes, it should. So they're firing electrons and they expect it to form a single line. But then guess what? When they're firing the electrons, it didn't form as a single line, it's forming as bands. Because it's going as a wave all over, this way, this way, this way, and then going and then hitting somewhere there. And then they said, how is it possible? It should be in a single line. What an observer. They put an electronic observer and said, hey, look, I want you to observe and see what's happening to this electron. And then the observer, which is an electronic counter, when they put it, and which is trying to observe and said, I want to see this electron right there because I'm shooting straight. This machine gun is shooting straight. I want to see the electron right there. And as they put observer, guess what happened? Instead band, it formed as a single line. Instead band, where it is going everywhere, it only starts showing up as a single line. I'm simplifying the experimentation, but the net result is that they found that whenever an observer is there in the room, observing that stuff, then it is automatically becoming a particle. It's getting rid of this wave nature. It'll come back as a particle, showing up as a physical entity as a particle. But if you leave it out, then it became a wave again. So that's why this quantum physics found that a wavy nature, that means a dual nature. Think of it, we are dual nature. In non-dual nature, non-duality, Advaita talks about duality, non-duality. In non-duality, we are this everything, that wave, that energy everywhere. And the dual, where we put our consciousness and attention on something, then it becomes particle and then it becomes the dual. It becomes a material reality, that illusion that we are living in. We withdraw our attention off it, then it goes away. Now, of course, in macro bodies, it doesn't happen the way we expect it. We can experiment, we can go deep inside this subject. We can go and then see micro subatomic particle what's happening. Now, what is that you constructed? If atom is empty, and if a molecule contains atoms are empty, like your hydrogen, your water, your body is 70% water. If that is empty because it's a molecule containing atoms is empty, and then your organ, so your cell, which is containing several molecules, your skin cell, liver cell, your neural cells, there are all kinds of cells. If they are also now made up of molecules are empty, and then your organ, which is made up of cells, is then empty, and then your organs are empty, then what do you expect your body to be? You got to agree with me that when you construct the science back, then you say that we are deep inside our emptiness, at subatomic particle emptiness. At a macrocosm, macro body level, we don't essentially see this. So that's why in meditation, we experience that emptiness. So quantum field, the moment we became all, the moment we all are at a deep subatomic particle level with energy, we are that waves. And then so my electrons, your electrons, somebody's electrons, they all are connected together as a single continuous field into this entire universe, the planets, everything that's all deep inside its subatomic particle level is energy. So we're all connected all with it, right? The waves just going and stopping. There's no break, right? And when Akashvani releases some energy signal, then it is going all along. It could go as long as it could go, right? And so same way our energy field that we are, our energy deep inside is spreading here everywhere. And then it'll get in touch with the person next to me, and it'll get into the other person next to me. They all become one, they merge into it. So it's because it's wavy nature, difference of the quantum field versus Newtonian model. The quantum model, when two particles come together, since they have a field around them, the wave, before the particles can collide, the waves are colliding, the field is colliding, the energy is colliding. And with that energy, that emptiness is what? Is that information which is thought. So in Newtonian world, if two objects come together, two particles or two atoms come together and then collapse and form a chemical reaction, that's how all these medicines and all this come. But however, before a chemical reaction occur, in quantum model is saying the energy fields collide. Energy field collide, the information is being exchanged. It's called mind over matter. So before even a physical thing happening, the mind over matter is happening, that information is getting exchanged from one to the other. Our cell biology, when the Bruce Lipton, many of these people, when they looked at it, the cells that are there, they do not have their nucleus as the center, but the cells have the holes in their edges. Cell membranes have the hole, they have the pores, where the cell membranes, when they took out the center of the cell, they expect the cell will die. That did not happen. Instead, the membranes are the ones where they're taking information from outside. It's called the environment of the cell. If the environment of the cell is receiving a lot of signal, and that signal is a thought, and then if somebody talked about with a lot of heightened feeling and emotion, the cells are taking that signal and then activating the appropriate genes, activating the upregulating of the genes and producing a different protein that the scientists never expected, because now it is getting a different kind of input. But the bottom line is, in the body, in the biology of the cell, they found that the center is not the where the thing is, but whereas the edges and the membrane, where it's where the information is taking the input. So the external environment of the cell, if that is strong, then automatically it is producing the right level of upregulation of the genes and proteins. It's called epigenetics. So must understand this epigenetics. By Bruce Lipton, one of the authors. Many people are doing the research on this. But the net is that quantum field has said there is unlimited potential possibilities because we're all connected as a single big energy field. Observation manifests the possibilities of physical reality. Watch a video on this subject by Fred Alan Wolf. One of the leaders can facilitators can type that, Fred Alan Wolf, right? Double slit experiment. When you watch the video, we don't have time, so I can't play this, but of course we do this in 40 days. Now, so when you watch this, then you understand that what I've talked about is concept of an electron appearing as wave as a particle. But at the end of the day, then based on this electron experiment, they slowly constructed physics and said that every event that we're experiencing in the life every experience that we have is a physical event which got a start time, end time, and it always has a person, place, thing in it. And all of that is always nothing but a pattern of subatomic particles influenced by our observation. This particular event where you, me, and everybody are all together, we set out our intent to organize this event about 6 weeks ago. We made flyers. We are putting our observation onto it. We released the flyers. You got it. Karthikeyan sent it to several of you. Ramesh sent it to several of them. Guys sent it to several of them. So all of you, everybody put their intent. And everybody's collapsing a possibility based on their intent. So all of our electrons, if you will, right, look at it, and all of our electrons, all of them nicely formed a pattern, and then we formed this whole event called 5-day wellness being event. Today we are here. Without our observation, it couldn't be possible. Without you making up your mind, you couldn't be possible to be here, right? Together, this is called a collective event. So observation is what is making possible any possible reality. What is how many possibilities? There is infinity, because there are infinite forms of electrons, and all these things are connected. So there is infinite field, and they're all waiting to happen because of observation. Any combination. That's why it's infinite possibility in physical reality, dear friends. And observation is nothing but thoughts and feelings. And thoughts and feelings are producing a great experience for us in life. So if you have to look at it and say 95%, I want to tie it back to the day one I said, 95% of a thought and feeling are either redundant or negative. 50 to 60 thoughts a day. Surveys are done, statistics are done. And repeated thoughts, the more you repeat, the way our memory learns, the more we repeat, the stronger our connections become. It's called the cells that fire together, wire together in this neuroscience. The more times you repeat, say you learned the table, 3 by 3, 9, 5 by 6, 30. You learn the tables. And then you more repeat them, that become stronger, that if a lifelong will now forget them. The same way, the more you repeat, the negative experience becomes stronger, and then that keep on producing it. So then thoughts that we have are producing feelings in the body, and if they're about negative aspects, then they produce negative feelings in the body, and the feelings are in turn producing more and more thought. That is called a thinking feeling loop. Because every moment you have a thought that based on a past of anything, then suddenly a chemical is produced into the body, and as a result, then the body behaves in a certain way that sends a signal back into the cognitive mind, which takes that, processes it, collects more experience of that same past from surrounding areas, brings it back, and then you have another feeling, and then goes back. So thought to feeling is a circular loop. So we are stuck in this thought and feeling loop forever on a given feeling or given event of the past. So our then goal is to change this thought and feeling to create a different reality. We are in a current reality. The more we observe, and then more we rectify our mind again and again and again, and then keep on removing that weed of things that don't support, and then change the reality new one. So the way to do that, dear friends, is two things, simple: meditation, reading books. We really have two things to do: meditation and reading books. Meditation is removing all the negative thought. Reading books is expanding our knowledge and signal, expanding our thought into new thought that supports us. That's all we have to do. That's why we're emphasizing so much in reading books. And we are reading all the time books. We have to read books or listen to the other people's experiences. The more we read, the more it will come into our experience and the more it sticks. It's like learning to doing to being. That's a standard concept in the way brain is learning. So we read and we practice. Somebody who reads Bhagavad Gita 100 times have no use at all. Just reading it stays there. You got to take that and practice it. Who is helping you practice it? Meditation. Meditation is producing various opportunities for us to go and then apply it, apply it, apply it. Meditation is removing all the negative thought and helping us implement it. Dear friends. So 50% is meditation, 50% is reading, so that we produce that grand outer reality for ourselves. Right. So, sir, I really wanted to have your experience shared, Talsilaji. However, since we are close to the time, Talsilaji is the managing director and founder of a great educationalist. And I wanted to hear his experience, so is Madhavan GC too, before we close. So we'll close the session and then we'll probably spend us to tomorrow. We're going to listen in on the final day as we have more people and share your experiences tomorrow. That may be better. So we could do that. Sir, any of your observations? Talsilaji. So we can't hear you.
Now are you hearing me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Yes.
Thanking Chandra Kulamasetti for giving me this opportunity. When Mrs. Sudharao called me and asked me to join this session, I accepted mainly because I adore and admire greatly Lord Buddha, as has given greatest messages to the world, that is Buddham Saranam Gacchami, Dharmam Saranam Gacchami, and Sangam Saranam Gacchami, because a lot of meaning is there. If you learn more, if you meditate, you will learn more. As you learn more, you will get a lot of intellect. Intellect leads to wisdom. Wisdom leads to vision. So he has got a greatest, he became a greatest visionary, and ultimately he started a big religion to spread all over the world. Anyway, Buddham Saranam Gacchami means your wisdom protects you. Dharma Saranam Gacchami means your good deeds, good thoughts will make you the most respectable in high esteem. Similarly, Sangam Saranam Gacchami means your service to humanity or society or outside gives you a lot of happiness as well as success in life. So by meditating regularly, the mind gets more concentration to learn much, which gives a lot of potential, inner potential. Also, Buddha said, there is no heaven or hell after death. If you do good things, you become divine, your Atma becomes Paramatma. You will get heavenly happiness in your life itself. If you are doing bad things, your life becomes hell. After your death, you will have nirvana. That means you become part of the cosmos. The greatest contribution from Buddha was he was most successful removing violence and superstition in Hindu religion, and you can see became a god for Hindus also. Also, I narrate my experience when I was studying my MSc in 1961. One young sannyasi has come and stayed in our university guest house. At that time, I was very tense because my final exams to be held in about a month. I met him and told about the fear of my exams. He asked me to meditate with Narayana mantra. Narayana mantra. That is Om Narayanaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Asked me to do meditation for about 1 hour in the morning every day. In fact, Om Narayanaya Namaha means it's also breathing exercise. Om, the entire breathing process will be most dynamic inside. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Although from gut to head of the top of the head, complete body will become vibrant in this mantra. Nothing but a breathing in, breathing out exercise. Just as Chandra here teaching to us. So my mind became very calm, serene, and active. I was most successful in exams. In fact, I got highest marks in the exams. I am also impressed about the quantum nature of body, mind, energy, as told by you. According to science, all matter, non-living or non-living matter, or living matter, are made up of the same ultimate mass particles called electrons, protons, and neutrons, are nothing but a condensed form of energy. Our body and mind are nothing but, therefore, energy only. It is proved beyond doubt by greatest scientist Einstein by his famous relation, mass equivalence relation, E is equal to mc square. Somebody asked Einstein by energy, but who has created the energy? Then he said, no doubt there is some supernatural power was there. My name is God, therefore I believe in God. And he also said, science and religion are inseparable. Amazingly, our rishis, about 5,000 to 6,000 years back, it told this scientific truth as Vasudaika Kutumbam. Vasudaika, our universe is our family. We belong to the universe. Hence, we are not separate. We are connected with energy which is pervading everywhere in this universe. Finally, I wanted to say that meditation is most important. When you quiet your mind, you will enter into a world of clarity, peace, and understanding. I know thousands of my friends are most successful and happy in life because they spend at least 1 or 2 hours in the puja room meditating deeply and silently. The success and happiness are directly proportional to, this is very important, the success and happiness in life is directly proportional to meditation. Meditation. Whoever does more, their success and happiness rate is more. I thank the organization, Buddha CEO, Chandraji, Usha Rao, and other participants. We will seriously follow what you say to this Buddha CEO organization. Chandra, you already became a big yogi. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. That is Thalsila Balakrishna ji, who is founder, managing director, very successful educationalist with several schools and colleges from Visakhapatnam. And sir, we are in this journey, and then we have innate desire to introduce this meditation to as many children, as many students possible. So we are doing a lot of work in Vizag area. We've taken up a project to teach in rural villages for 500 schools. We've covered about 200 schools there. But at any time, we'll be happy to teach and then do this to your schools and institutional students whenever that you say that you want to join forces. That's one of the core goals of Buddha Seva Foundation, is to empower and enable students from very early on so that they live a life of their greatest life.
Sure, sir. Sure, I will invite you in the schools and colleges are open.
Wonderful.
Most probably they will open in November or December only. So at that time, I will invite you, and we will have a great session there. So we are fortunate to have you there. Also. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful, sir. Okay, thank you, friends. Karthikeyan sir, thank you for staying through and your observation. I couldn't get yours yesterday and today. I know that we are a little bit late, but I think it is worth to
Yes.
listen to Balakrishna ji. Yes, sir. With your closing comments.
Beautiful, another beautiful evening. Balakrishna spoke beautifully, but I am so impressed by Lawrence, her frank sharing of her life story with meditation is very moving, touching, very convincing. He's an amazing person. Lawrence, you are really great. Your sharing is beautiful, powerful. You inspire everybody. Every time you speak, you inspire everybody because it comes from your heart. And you are right, keep it up. You are advising everybody, keep it up. Don't give up. Don't give up, you said. Yes, don't give up. Because, it's not just knowing the technique. It is a practice ultimately. See, knowledge is not alone. It has to convert into wisdom. And that has to be practiced. Knowing about meditation, or this is how meditation is done, is okay, but doesn't help you. Unless you practice, experience it, implements it as part of your life, you are only having knowledge. That's all. You can talk about it and discuss it. But really to have experience, as we have been hearing last few days and even the last 2 days, yesterday particularly Mr. Chandra Modali was amazing. Chandra
Yes,
yes. Modali.
Yes.
And of course Balsundaram the other day, and thereafter Sri earlier, then Mayuri about how she got over migraine. Chandra Modali's, because it was a morning session, I think.
Yes, sir.
So the people in this session may not have heard, but whoever is still staying on, it was how he got over many problems in a short time. After a few weeks of meditation, is amazing. She also, this young lady, her name is Mayuri, I think. Mayuri, she got over the migraine. I mean, these are all looks like stories when you read it, but when you hear from people in person, you can see how grateful they are, how they are transformed they are, and all that. So I would only endorse what the great Lady Lawrence said: "Don't give up, keep it up. If you really want, yes, you are fortunate. I always say you are lucky to come into this program, but be wise enough to continue it to have real benefit. And once you get it, then you will be able to spread it to others. That's the purpose of life. Like what Chandra has learned, Lawrence has learned. They are not stopped with that. Whatever they said, no, we want more people to have the same benefit. It's a great service they are doing. I commend you, Chandra, again and again and again. Thank you. I stayed on because I was to go, but I stayed on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Tomorrow also I will be with you.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow is final day. Thank you so much for your encouragement. It's been wonderful.
You are doing a great job.
We have
doing a great job. So ably supported by your lady Vani Garu and your entire team. Amazing. Keep it up.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, dear friends. So we'll be there for just another few minutes after 2 minutes break. And then if anybody wants to share or ask questions, we'll be there for another 10-15 minutes. Thank you all. So we'll see you again tomorrow at evening at 6 p.m. And those of you who want to do an extra meditation, we're doing this at 10:30 a.m. if you know. So you're more than welcome to join that too, right? So see you again tomorrow. Thank you.